So we had what we had discussed, that oxygen reduction titration, the curve that we are obtaining here, these types of curve that we had already discussed. Okay. So factor which can be which defined value of infections of the points of the titrations and the curve of the redox titrations, nature of analytes, pH value of medium, and that exact findings and all. So that uh, titrations without indicator, yes, potassium permanganate itself, it can be used as indicator. So without indicator we can use, and some other also we can use. We have to use an indicator. We have to use so two different types of redox titration we can divide depending on the indicator used, without titration, without indicator, and with indicator. Okay. So these types of experiments like potentiometric titrations, that we can, that is also come under the oxidation reaction. Indicators which can be used in oxidation reduction metric titrations, specific indicators that can be used, like we can say in case of iodine reaction, starch we can use. Starch we can use as indicator. Redox indicator we can use, that can be visualized at the end point. External indicator we can use. Okay. And in the redox titration, the redox indicator, you can say the substance should be so much specific that one species can oxidize and other can reduce. That can be denoted, that can be ascertained. Okay. So that is you can say redox oxidation potential reaction, and that can say that can be indicated in that indicator can indicate us. So this is the important list of indicator. You look at here, that number of indicator that we can use in redox titration, like phenylene diamine, that is the violet color and colorless at the end point. Okay, so the electron volt, it's that much of electron volt it is act. Another is the phenylenthranilic acid, the redox violet and colorless, it can be act is this one. Okay, and this is ortho phenanthroline, iron and ferrointine. This is called as ferrointine, and it can be as a pale blue color, red in color. It can be converted in red. And orthophenylene diamine carboxylic acid, that is the dark blue color and colorless. And then phenylene amino azosulfonic acid, that can be reduced in that is the exactly red violet color and can be converted into the colorless. So these are the some indicators that can be used here in oxidation reduction titration. Okay, so the rule of oxidation reduction, I can say choice of redox indicator choice, we can say. So that depends on the can say oxidation reduction type of reaction. So what types of indicator that we have to use and we want to use. Okay, so look at here, another is important, I can say oxidation reduction titration, that is the permanganometry titrations. Permanganometry titration means potassium permanganate we are using. Potassium permanganate is the second standard solution. Okay, so the magnesium MnO4 means potassium permanganate. So potassium permanganate react with the water, what will happen? It will be converted in MnO2. MnO4, that is converted into MnO2. Okay, so it can say reduced means potassium permanganate that is reduced into the MnO2. Okay, so that is the reduction, and oxygen that is involved here, and this is the titrant basically it is used. And reaction method, that is MnO4, that is what can reduce Mn plus 2. Okay, so the standard substance that can be used, that like oxalic acid, sodium oxalate and all, sodium thiosulfate, that we can use here. Then medium, that sulfuric acid. This is sulfuric acid basically. Sulfuric acid, we can, in presence of sulfuric acid, that reaction can take place. Indicator, without indicator we can proceed. With indicator no need, because potassium permanganate itself act as an indicator, self indicator. It can change in their color. Okay, because of the Mn plus Mn2, when it convert into the Mn+4 into the Mn+2, then the color will be changed. Okay, so it will be act as a self indicator on that, and that types of oxygen reduction titration is known as the permagnetometry titrations. So this is the another class of can say oxygen reduction titrations. Now the titration conditions, what we require the titration conditions, and very acidic medium we required, means as sulfuric acid we required sulfuric acid, and the neutral medium and basic medium. So what happened, that reaction that will be faster in case of the sulfuric acid conditions. Okay, so the condition that is required is very acidic, means sulfuric acid, that we have to be added over here. So that is the reactions, and potassium permanganate itself act as a you can say indicator in these types of permagnetometry titrations. And determinant substance in potassium permanganate titrations, what types of substance we can use, we can determine, like if you want to determine that concentration of hydrogen peroxide that we can use the potassium permagnetometry oxidation reaction permagnetometry reactions. If you want to determine that iron metal, if you want to determine that MnO2, if you want to determine that NaNO2, so we can use that permagnetometry titrations. Okay, and oxidizer here we can use like Fe+3, okay, MnO2, and these are oxidizer that we can use, like sodium thiocyanate that we can use as oxidizer, but reducer that is here. So what happened, main thing is that when we use potentiometry titration, number of, like, to determine concentrations of potassium permanganate, to determine the concentrations of magnesium oxide, to determine the concentrations of azides, okay, so carboxylic acids, so that we can use the permagnetometry titrations, and potassium permanganate we can use as a titrant. Okay, next. So the advantage of permagnetometry titrations, yes, without indicator we can use, because of permanganate is self indicator. Okay, then possibility of use of can say wide interval of pH, we can use high value of can say E means electron volt, that is energy, and chief and accessible reagents possible to definitions of the substance which is oxidized. Yes, so these are the can say advantages of potassium permagnetometry titrations. Lack of can say potassium permagnetometry. So because of it is a secondary standard solution. Okay, so primary standard is not there, is secondary standard. Potassium permanganate is the primary secondary standard solution. So that is the lack. Okay, means disadvantages, and instability that of a standard solution. Okay, and so these are, and yes, heating is also necessary somewhere, and strict keeping of the conditions that should be, yes, specific condition required. Impossible to titrate the presence of chloride ions. Okay, because of chloride ion can be interfering into the oxidation reactions. Okay, so in absence of chloride ions that we required. Okay, these are the some disadvantages of permanganate reactions. Another types of oxidation reaction, that is the dichlorometry titrations. So titrate here the potassium dichromate. Okay, and it's a primary standard solution. Okay, and the potassium the chromate can in chromic acid that we can use. Reductions method, that is potassium dichromate, that is can reduce into the CR3 plus. Okay, this is oxidation reduction takes place, and the medium, the acidic medium, the sulfuric acid that we required, and phosphoric acid you can say, or hydrochloric acid, any chloric acid medium that we required into the dichlorometry titrations. So dichloromate we can use. Indicator, yes, in this case what types of indicator we can use? We can use internal oxidation indicator, the redox type indicator, like diphenylamine, okay, phenylethrine, N-phenylethrine, phenylamine sulfonate acids. Okay, so these indicator we can use. Number of indicator, diphenylamine basically it is mainly used, and phenylethrine that is mainly used. So these are the indicator that we can use as a internal indicator. But potassium permanganate, the self indicator may be used, but potassium dichromate we have to use that another indicators. Okay, determinants, substance that you can say, look at here the reducer, direct titrations and back titrations. So reducers we can use like Fe+2, SO3 minus, arsenic, ascorbic acid, glycerine, that we can use back titration for determination of M1+3, ClO+3 and MnO2 minus. So we can use back titrations for that. Okay. Advantages, yes, number of advantages is dichromic, means potassium dichromate titration, that having primary standard, because of potassium dichromate is primary standard. Long stability in the solutions, yes, it may be treated in presence of chloride ions. Okay. And potassium dichromate is slowly react with the organic substances, so it can be, you can say, dissolved in distilled waters. Potassium permanganate is really strong oxidizing agents. Okay. And titration may be used without heating. Okay, so these are the number of advantages over the you can say potassium permanganate titrations. Can say that is dichromatry titration having over the potassium permanganate or permanganate titrations. Okay, so disadvantage is because of dichromate is weak oxidizing agent. Potassium permanganate is strong oxidizing agent, but potassium dichromate is weak oxidizing agents. Okay. And slow pass of the reaction, and necessary the use of indicator. Yes, indicator we required because potassium permanganate itself act as indicator no need, but here the indicator we required. Yes, often back titration required, but potassium permanganate there is no back titration required, but here the in dichromate, in potassium dichromate we require the back titrations. Okay, so these are reactions that we discussed. Another, the iodometry. Next one, the iodometry titrations. Iodometry titrations means that is titrate, that is we are using sodium sulfite, and here basically iodometry, iodine is liberated. Okay, one is the iodometry, we will discuss next slide. We will discuss iodometry. The iodine is directly calculated, directly involved in titrations, but here the iodometry, that iodine is liberated. So the standardization, the primary standard solutions like potassium bromate, potassium dichromate, that we can use here, and reducing reagent we can say iodine, that can be used reduced in I minus can be reduced in iodine I+2. Okay. Next, so the can say sodium thiosulfate and starch, that we can use as here as a indicators. Okay, and iodine, when that is liberated, so starch can be used as indicator over here. So indicator, that 1% starch solution we can use as indicator. Okay, and the determinants, which substance we can determine, that we can determine the concentration of potassium, that S2O2, hydrogen peroxide, we can determine N2O2, and we can determine MgO2, BaO2. So these are potassium dichromate, consider potassium permanganate, we can determine number of substance we can determine by using you can say iodometry. Another is the iodometry. Iodometry titrations, in which what happen, directly iodine is directly involved. Okay, direct iodine is involved. Where is the iodine was liberated? Here is direct iodine is involved. Okay, and this is a secondary standard solution iodine, and that can be reduced in iodide, and you can say light can be used. So it's a method. Next, so standardizations, the iodine can be standardized by using the sodium thiosulfate. Okay, and sodium thiosulfate can be converted into sodium iodide. Okay, so conditions for iodometry, that that solution titrations can say made in cool conditions. Titration that can be give, can say takes place in presence of acidic conditions less than 8 pH. Can say we required more than 8 pH, 1 pH. Okay, so that can be takes place. Indicators that we can use, yes, without indicator we can use somewhere, but mostly that 1% starch as a iodine means as an indicator we can use here, because of starch can react with iodine and can give the dark blue color. Okay, we can determine number of substance, we can determine they like penicillin and all, methionine, the caffeine, these are the drugs that is given here, we can ascertain by iodometry titrations. Okay, so yes, water can also determine by the iodometry titrations. Water by Fischer reagents. Okay, by the Fischer reagent, water can be determined their purity by the iodometry titrations. Okay, we are not going in detail about the water. Advantages of iodometry titrations, that it can be used to identify to define many substances. High accuracy that will be used, and titrate without indicator we can use. Okay, and number of substance can be estimated by the iodometry titrations. Yes, number of disadvantage also having the volatility of iodine. Volatility means iodine can easily can be operated. Second standard solution we required. Okay, and very acidic and basic solution that we required. Okay, back titration somewhere it is required. So these are the some precipitation maybe some takes place. Okay, and standard solutions that can be required. So these are the some disadvantages of iodometry titrations. Next one, there is iodometry. Iodometry, is what happened that titrant that we are using the potassium iodide, triiodide, that is primary standard, secondary standard, back equations that can be used. Okay, and so indicator the star solution we can use. So there is the iodometry, that is potassium iodate that will be used, iodate solution. Okay, so potassium iodate we can use, and as iodine is liberated, and this iodine can be ascertained by the stars as indicator. Similarly, like iodimetry, but iodimetry we use iodine. Okay, but in iodatometry, that is potassium iodate we are using. So that is the difference. Okay, so iodatometry that we discussed, you can say we can use the potassium iodate. Bromometry, the potassium bromate we are using here, and is the primary standard, secondary standard solution we can use. Yes, and the iodometry methods that can be we can use here the bromometric method, like potassium bromate we can use, and rest similar things that we have discussed is the same thing. So in your syllabus, what are the things that, what is the meaning of iodometry, what is the meaning of potassiometry, and what are advantages and what are indicators that we can use. Indicator, the methyl orange we can use methyl. Okay, in the bromometry titrations. So potassium bromate can be react with the potassium chloride, bromide and HCl. So what happens, bromine that is liberated, and bromine can be ascertained by thiocyanate. Okay, as an indicator we can use over here. Okay, so that is the things. Okay, so advantages, yes, there is no not only the determinations of oxidizing and reducing agents, but many substances we can use it. And potassium bromate can say that is the primary standard that we are using, and the ions that is put the bromic acid, that is ion that is formed and eating. Okay, so disadvantages of this, that it can be interfere in many organic substances, and that displacement addition reaction that can be takes place over here. So it is not used as much as others use. Last one, the last reaction, there is serimetry, that cerium that can oxidize, and the secondary standard solution that is usual, so it is cerium sulfate. And cerium, there is a standard solution here, and cerium that can be you convert iodine into the iodine. Okay, so the sodium thiosulfate we can use over here to determine the iodine solution in the serimetry titrations. Okay, so indicator that we can use here in the serimetry, that known, you can say redox indicators, physiological parameter, reduction like sulfonic acid, orthophenanthrene, and phenylamines, and these ferritin that we had discussed, that we had used here in the serimetry titrations. The advantages of serimetry titrations, the standard solutions in the stable time that we can use, and titrations in the possible presence of chloride that we can use. Okay, and so what happened, the serimetry titrations that we can use in real time, and again that determine, you can say physiochemical analysis and serimetry titration that can be discussed. So these are the some advantage, and some are, can say disadvantages of serimetry titration, like necessity of indicator that is required. Yes, complex formations of fluorine that maybe takes place somewhere, heating we required. So these are the things that we require. So that we had discussed. Thank you.